Welcome to German television.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. President, so you will be in this building sitting at the table also with Donald Trump, with the German Chancellor. What is at risk in this year's NATO summit? What do you expect here in these talks?
Well, I had a very good opportunity with my Baltic colleagues to meet Chancellor Merz last Friday in Berlin, and we discussed preparations for this summit. So we were on the same page when we were outlining a couple of things that we want to achieve. One is unity, another is more push for capabilities. We have 5% targets, but we still need capabilities. And the third was support for Ukraine. So if we manage to do that, then I would call this summit success. Of course, we do have, as always, I would say as always, this is not the first time when Alliance has also some internal discussions. It used to be Iraq some 20 plus years ago. Yes, now we have some things that we probably need to openly discuss about the latest discussion that we had over Iran. But I'm confident that if everyone comes in good faith, then we can actually manage to keep our unity.
Okay, so you're confident, but Donald Trump already said that he is unhappy, unsatisfied, and he said today that, the allies were not there for us. What do you answer him tomorrow?
I think that what we are currently working at, and also my country, Latvia, is how to be part of the efforts to stabilize the situation in Strait of Hormuz. There has been a meeting of coalition chaired by countries like the United Kingdom, like Germany, like France. We were talking about sending certain assets, and frankly, there have been different reactions also at the beginning of those strikes that the United States and Israel made. There were countries that were saying it's not our war, and there were countries that were saying we understand why the United States and Israel is doing. So the alliance had, as always, in 32 member states setting, different views. My country expressed understanding of the actions of the United States. That's why I can say tomorrow that while there have been differences, we know to find a way how we can actually work together to assist normalizing the situation. As I said, there have been now very close cooperation with the United States on how we can practically do that. Of course, Latvia is a very small country. There are much bigger NATO allies. But if we sit together and we, of course, discuss also what was not good and right and all the grievances, if we are past that stage, then we can actually also get into the business how we can work together. But as I said, we have had such things also in the past.
So NATO has stated, Secretary General Rutte also, that there will be a new NATO 3.0, a new transatlantic industrial revolution. Those headlines really, they mean that the burdens have to be really taken by the Europeans, also with the financial burdens in NATO. But does it, with the capacity on the ground, with the tanks, with the ships, and also the soldiers, does it really keep up to have this European NATO? Does that work for you?
The fact that Europe needs to take much more responsibility was discussed not only at NATO but also at the European Union level, many times. Great announcements, not so much action so far, like it or not. Now I think that we all realize that the United States are not anymore ready to cover the whole defense expenditure and also capabilities. We need to build our own, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time. Even if you allocate, like my own country, 5% of GDP for defense this year, you still need to find, let's say, shelf where you can buy certain equipment, and it is not there. So we need to send also the signal to the industry that we are serious, we are investing. Today, Latvia, alongside with a couple of countries, Canada, Turkey, Albania, also Romania, overall 8 countries announced the creation of special bank, Defense Security and Resilience Bank, in order actually to boost also financing of certain defense industrial capacity. What we see, sometimes there is money. Defense industry needs commitment, long-term commitment, and those kind of things are not coming together. I'm quite confident if we do our part, if we get stronger, we are going to be much more interesting for the United States than we are now. So if we do that, it's in our benefit, but also in the benefit of transatlantic relations.
So we don't know yet what Donald Trump will put on the table tonight and tomorrow at the NATO summit. But regarding what also has been said about defense spending, is there a certain truth in his analysis that some European countries are not doing enough, still not doing enough? You have said by yourself that the closer you are to Russia, the better you understand the threat. So Spain and Portugal, they are not understanding the threat?
Well, I think that what we have seen, there is now very different level of spending. We have countries reaching or around 2%, and we are countries that are having already surpassed 5% defense spending. That's one thing. And yes, indeed, if you look at the map, most of those countries that are at 5 or close to 5 or past the 5% spending are close to Russia. I think to that extent, President Trump is right. There is quite a discrepancy in the overall alliances work. At the same time, let me remind what Secretary General Rutte said. The last years have been years of quite high defense expenditure. The raise has been really, really remarkable. If we all follow our commitment, it's great. But there is another thing. There are countries like Spain, you mentioned, like Germany, that are in our region, contributing with troops. And let's not also forget their real contribution to the overall eastern flank security.
So a final question. You will sit at the table and everyone is talking about the American position. Would you also say somebody has to stand up against Donald Trump if it is necessary again?
You know, what we all need, we need to find a common ground. Standing up against anybody is not going to help. President Trump was right about defense spending. He was right about Europe that is not doing enough. There have been some issues where there have been disagreements. If we are going to that summit with the kind of understanding that we need to stand up, then we are going to end in a disaster. If we are going to discuss openly things, we are going to end this summit in the success. I would now say the whole chance of the ending up in a success very much depends on each and every head of state and government in the room. So chances are still 50-50.
50-50 chances. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.